So the majority of the comments that I've gotten on any of the videos have been in the nerdier section of things. Apparently, my Logan review probably got more comments and hate mail than anything so far. So, figure while we're tapping into a nerve, might as well talk about comics and something that's a little bit divisive amongst the nerd community, and that is converting a lot of comic material into movies and exactly what that means as far as characters, character development, things along those lines. Um, I think there's a few good examples of that, and some of them really make nerds mad. But for example, I think Batman can never really have Robin on screen. It would be a fucking terrible, terrible idea. Mainly because when Robin was written, I mean, you're talking about, 1940s and 1950s mentality being like the standard of the day. Nobody really thought anything odd of Bruce Wayne, billionaire and reclusive philanthropist, living all by himself in Wayne Manor, having a teenage, ward of Dick Grayson living up there by themselves with just his manservant Alfred would be fucking weird. But immediately, if that was a real life situation today, Bruce Wayne would get shredded as being like the next fucking Liberace or Michael Jackson. Like, it could never happen. Like, the idea of Robin, the way they broke that shit down in the comics, wouldn't work. It's a shitty idea. I mean, you can get away with Nightwing mainly because his name is cooler and his costume's neat, and he's already kind of grown up. But the whole idea of Robin, even the original costume of just fucking green sequence shorts, fucking red and yellow, like open collared fucking shirt and a little black Zorro mask. Dude, it's gayer than actual gay sex. Like, it's just fucking wouldn't work. People would be really upset about it, I think, if they actually got what they wanted and they started seeing like some direct translations from comic book to movie screen. Another big one, and this is something that kind of hits home for me, is Fantastic Four. I think is they have some really good storylines and some interesting characters, but again, it was kind of invented, and their origins were rooted in, before we got into actual space travel. So you have superpowers that are granted to them by space radiation, which gave them superpowers instead of super cancer. And it's kind of fucking goofy. Most of the early stories, and even some of the bad guys like Mole Man and stuff, fucking terrible. I think there's ways around it, and I think they could really update and make some kind of cool choices with things, but some of it just isn't going to work. So, just like the Logan aspect, I want to kind of hear what some of you guys think. What comic book movies are, work? Which ones are terrible and should never be translated? It doesn't have to be, publicly out there or whatever. But again, if you have an unpopular opinion on it, I know people out there hated the original Spawn movie, which, I mean, for its day and age, I thought it was pretty good, but there's a lot of hatred for it. Blade, some people complain that he wasn't British, which, he was in the comics. There's a lot of big changes that they've made to certain characters and elements over the years, and doesn't exactly stay true, but it's kind of cooler or makes more sense. Another big one recently was Spider-Man and the Web Shooters. I personally actually really like the idea that they went organic for the Tobey Maguire films, the first ones. Because, I mean, while, yeah, people are like, well, spiders don't actually shoot it from their wrists. It comes out of their butt. Well, yeah, I guess. But, you know, if you're going to jump the shark and say that you're going to get spider sense, whatever the fuck that is in actual spiders, then shooting web out of your wrist isn't really that big of a jump. And it actually, to me, it makes a lot more sense than a high school freshman essentially inventing a multi-million dollar military grade fucking web shooters to complete a costume. Like, meanwhile, the kid's poor and he's living at home, but he's never invented anything that's like worth money. Get the fuck out of here. So, those were a few examples. If you can think of any others, love to hear it. Chime in. Shit talk all you want. Or say I'm wrong. If you think Robin would make a great character on screen, let's fucking hear why. If you agree, let's hear that too. Till next time.